There are no fewer than 10 thriller series in a row on Amazon Prime Video and HBO Max that are sure to keep you glued to them. And frankly, where to begin is difficult. So I have narrowed down the ones that are really special, the sort of shows that hook you with the first episode and keep you till the credits roll. These thrillers are full of suspense, witty twists, and scenes that will leave you wondering what each character has in mind. Starting with psychological brainbusters all the way to harsh crime thrillers, each of them has got something to offer. Today, we are ranking the 10 best thriller shows you must watch immediately on Amazon Prime Video and HBO Max, though toward the end, the position of the best series is not necessarily a thriller. It is a ghostly masterpiece which is set on one of the most frightening real events in human history. Let's get into it. Number 10. We Were Liars, The Summer That Broke Everything. Cadence. Sinclair is spending her time on a private island with her family every summer along with her cousins and friends. They refer to themselves the Liars. They exchange confidences, jokes, and days on the beach. However, something awful occurs after a summer. Cadence exists in the unconscious world and nobody informs her the truth. Her memories are gradually beginning to resurface when she returns to the island 2 years later. The further she recalls, the more dark everything becomes. It is a slow and silent mystery of guilt, loss, and illusion of perfection. The series appears tender and beautiful, however. Under each smile there is something that has been broken. It's not just a story about rich kids and secrets. It is something that people are ready to forget so that they could keep love alive. Sad and emotional, this adaptation shares the unrealistic weirdness of the book that made it unforgettable. Every episode is as though a puzzle piece that falls into place. Memories which never die echo in the ocean wind and the silent halls. The effortless writing lures you into the poetic tension and silent suffering until the shocking truth finally breaks through like a storm that you never imagined. Provided that you like slow burn mysteries that have emotional layers and a gut punch resolution, this one will be remembered long after the credits are rolled. Number 9. Tell Me Your Secrets, The Weight of a Hidden Past. Emma Hall used to lead a normal life until her past caught up with her. When she gets attached to a dangerous man, she becomes a witness protection, attempting to begin afresh. But even the shadows of her past life do not fade. She is sought after by a social worker called Mary, who feels that Emma knows more than she is telling her. The plot is developed via secrets, lies, and painful memories. No one feels innocent and everyone has something to conceal. It is a grim psychological thriller in which there can be no trust and no truths are free. The series is paced very gradually, in a gradual accumulation of tension, making you not know who the victim is and who the monster is. The air is dark, somber, and pregnant with silent fear. It is a chilling play of guilt, survival, and the extent to which people will go to cover up their darker side. Each look is as though a hint, each silence is ominous. The rhythm catches your breath and drags you further into their dark history to the point when you begin doubting yourself. The acts are brash, gritty, and uncomfortable in a most positive manner. It's a show that doesn't scream fear but lets it crawl under your skin and stay there long after it ends. Number 8. Chloe, The Illusion of a Perfect Life. Becky Green leads a very lonely life and spends her days scrolling through social media, fixated on the image-perfect life of her former friend Chloe. However, the death of Chloe suddenly turns out as an object of obsession to Becky. She invents a different identity to discover the truth of what was going on behind these shiny posts. What begins as curiosity gradually turns a dangerous game of lies and reinvention. Each move she makes draws her further into a non-life of her own. It is a psychological thriller that burns slowly over time, a story over identity, envy, and perceptions of perfection in the online world. The show encapsulates the spooky emptiness behind filtered lies and false smiles. When the two worlds of Becky start to mix, the truth and fantasy start to intertwine as her two lives are out of control. It is a compelling and subtly haunting tale which reveals the extent to which humans can go to feel noticed, cherished, and desired. Every episode is personal but stressed, and the writing is subtle, filled with emotion, and unnerved. The show is not dependent on loud twists, but quiet revelations that are stinging. Chloe is a contemporary portrait of obsession and self-destruction covered with mystery. Sleek, acute, and excruciatingly authentic. It's not just a thriller, it is a mirror of reflection of our digital lives. Number 7. The Head, Isolation and Suspicion in Antarctica. An isolated base in the Antarctic is home to a small research team whose lengthy winter has only just started and where contact with the world beyond is lost over months. The summer team, on coming back, discovers that the majority of the crew is dead and only one survivor left behind who cannot tell clearly what happened. With each layer of the investigation, the truth is more difficult to understand, and it appears that everyone has something to hide. The Head is a tense and atmospheric mystery thriller which creates its fear not with its monsters or ghosts, but with its seclusion, suspicions, and the gradual decay of the human mind. The silence that follows, the narrow corridors that feel claustrophobic, and the spooky quiet make it a chilling experience as you remain guessing to the end. With flashbacks that confuse your mind over who is right and wrong, every episode further unravels the mystery. The shows are uncooked and authentic, and the bare scenery in the background is almost like a character. Cold, ruthless, and unforgiving, The Head embodies the mental stress of survival and displays how fear can make even the most sensible individual a stranger. Number 6. The Undoing, When the Perfect Life Cracks. Grace Fraser has a seemingly ideal life in New York. She is an esteemed therapist with a handsome husband and a young son. All seems to be right around her until an enigmatic event breaks the tranquility that she once enjoyed. It does not take long before disturbing realities start to emerge, and there is a thin line between trust and deception. The Undoing is a stylish and gripping psychological thriller that immerses you in its ambiance of suspicion and doubt. Nicole Kidman plays an outstanding role, and Hugh Grant makes you guess with his multi-layered role. It is a slow-moving, slow burn of grace, secrets, the deception of a flawless life where each smile conceals something more sinister. The tension is heightened with each episode by the show with its gripping direction and haunting score. It is an extremely glamorous background to the chaos in the underworld, and thus it makes the world seem glamorous and frightening. The Undoing is not the simple matter of discovering the truth. It is about confrontation with the one that you have been avoiding. Number 5. The Outsider, When Reality Doesn't Make Sense. The brutal killing of a young boy in a small town creates a shocking tale that shakes everyone in a quiet town. The investigation is initiated by Detective Ralph Anderson, and all the leads point in the unbelievably right direction: a respected teacher and coach, Terry Maitland. However, as new evidence is revealed, things begin to go against one another in such a way that is not logical. According to witnesses, Terry was in 2 places simultaneously, and shortly the boundaries between reality and the unreal start to overlap. A normal crime drama gradually evolves into a much more terrifying and enigmatic occurrence. The Outsider is not a film about jump scares, but a movie about creeping, gradual fear that oozes through your skin. It is a mysterious, somber, psychological thriller that examines guilt, grief, and the unknown with supernatural accuracy. Full of good acting and a creepy atmosphere that makes you not see the end, the series uses to its fullest that sometimes the most frightening things are those which are inexplicable. In case you like smart, grounded thrillers, such as True Detective or Sharp Objects, this series will certainly strike a chord. It is somber, well-filmed, and suffused with silence that remains well after the credits. Number 4. Duster, The Gritty Ride to the 1970s Southwest. A 1970s American Southwest getaway driver is torn between allegiance and life. Against the background of dusty back roads and small desert towns, the story unfolds of a man who takes jobs in perilous companies and transporting mysterious cargo in the darkness. As a result of one of his missions going awry, he ends up in a web of deceit, secrets, and betrayal that extends way past what he could have ever dreamed of. When the FBI starts to close and his criminal associates become his enemies, he has to use his guts to survive. Duster is rough, uneasy, and full of that old-time Americana feel. It is an action, crime, slow-burn drama that is thrilling and leaves you on the edge with all its twists and turns. The vintage feel of the show is in the cars and the clothing, as well as the golden light that gives the impression that all the shots were filmed in the movie. It has the type of suspense that is developed gradually and then hits hard with multifaceted characters that are real and unpredictable. Unless you are indifferent to smartly written crime thrillers that have a touch of mayhem, it is worth the binge. Number 3. River, A Detective Haunted by Ghosts. Detective John River is an intelligent yet a troubled investigator in London. Not only the unsolved cases haunt him, but also the memory of the people he has lost, including his partner, the death of whom still rings in his ear. River is a good detective with his keen intuition, but his weak mind continues to draw him into a realm of reality and illusion. He is also fighting his feelings of grief and guilt, striving to maintain his sanity and conceal his pain, which everyone around him is unaware of, as he attempts to solve crimes. The series is a wonderful combination of crime, mystery, and emotion, and how the human mind can be so powerful yet painfully weak. Stellan Skarsgård delivers the most mesmerizing performance that makes River feel raw, real, and heartbreakingly human. It is not a typical detective full of action and escapades. It is slow, penetrating, and heartfelt. Every scene is so heavy, weighty, and so human. A sorrowful and haunting play that sticks in your mind long after reading. River isn't just about solving crimes. It is about loss, loneliness, and ghosts that we are are unable to release. Number 2. Bates Motel, the tragedy before the horror. Norma Bates relocates with her teenage son Norman to a remote town in the seaside in an attempt to begin afresh following a traumatic loss of some family members. She purchases an old roadside motel and is adamant about making something new out of it: a home, a business, even peace. However, something does not feel right behind that small town feel, something you cannot really place your finger on. They are very close, almost obsessive, and time passes and you begin to feel that tension which is boiling behind every look and every word. Norma is too protective in her love and Norman is too innocent to be able to detect a darkness lurking beneath his skin. Secrets start to reveal themselves, and the veil of the town is shattered into a world of deception, passion, and hidden suffering. Wonderfully penned and eerily acted, this show explores the human soul and the issues of guilt, love, and how one can move to madness slowly. Vera Farmiga gives one of her finest performances, strong and delicate with an exquisite precision. Freddie Highmore embodies the inner life of Norman to such a natural extent that, though, you almost feel sorry to him, until you don't. The brilliance of the show is that the tension is created gradually, each episode screwed a little tighter. It is dark, filmic, and claustrophobic. The tone is dense, the narrative is incisive, and on finishing the book you are aware that it was not merely a thriller, it was a tragedy at a slow pace. Number 1. Chernobyl. A peaceful night at Chernobyl nuclear power plant in April 1986 resulted in one of the greatest man-made disasters of all time. What started as a mere routine test turned out to be a nightmare when a reactor went off and unleashed fatal radiation that swept the city. No monsters, no ghosts, no more than mere horrifying reality. The documentary series reveals how common employees, scientists, and firefighters had to deal with a hidden foe that they could not even look at. Each scene is full of fear as courageous individuals are jeopardizing their lives when those in authority attempt to conceal the truth. It is slow, strained, and inconceivably mesmerizing. The performances are flawless. Jared Harris creates a sense of emotional gravity that imparts a sense of realism and tragedy to each decision. The camera work is of a chilled, haunting beauty that lingers in your mind even after it ends. Chernobyl is not a usual disaster movie. It is a tale of deceit, vanity, and the dreadful price of silence. One of the most powerful, disturbing masterpieces demonstrating that there is always a place where courage can be found. The ambiance is so realistic that it nearly transports you back to that fearful time. The dull hues, the creepy silence, and the powerlessness of the people who had no clue about what they were getting into. It is not about booms and fireworks. It is a question of the gradual understanding of horror that creeps in frame by frame. It is harshly frank, the rhythm painfully slow but stifling. Even now, the coldness of its revelation of human arrogance and political denial is chillingly applicable. It's an emotional, nerve-wracking ride that reminds you that truth always comes with a price, and occasionally that cost is all, and that's the list. Be it the sun-soaked secrets of a private island or the icy solitude of Antarctica, the mind-bending mystery of a teacher who was in two places at once, or the haunting real-life horror of Chernobyl, these 10 thrillers are the best Amazon Prime Video and HBO Max have to offer. Have you liked this countdown, liked, subscribed, and turned on the bell so that you do not miss any more thriller picks? Leave your favorite series in the comments. I would like to know what you are watching, and we shall meet you in the next.